Hi everyone, I'm Katrina and today I'm here with my May and June reading wrap-up. So all of the books that I've read in the past couple of months, and I guess we'll jump straight in. The first book that I finished that I want to talk about is one that I actually DNF'd. I started it, I believe, around March and I didn't like it. So I haven't given it a star rating on Goodreads, but if I were to give it a rating, it'd be around 1 or 2 stars, and that is Millennium Whole by Sarah Scott. So this was one of the books that I had to read for my Feminism in Literature course, and it just was really, really unexciting. Nothing really happens in the story. It's basically about a couple of men who stumble across a community of women that are really self-sufficient. There isn't any plot. It's kind of just like you come across them, you learn about the women, their history. And while discussing the book, the ending was brought up and I felt like I didn't need to continue reading to understand what happens in the book because it was just going to be the same. So I decided not to finish it, just a waste of time. I've also listened to quite a few audiobooks. I managed to finish 3. The first one I want to talk about is Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness, which I rated 3 out of 5 stars. And this is the 3rd and final book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. I think that had I read these books within a closer period of time, I probably would have enjoyed reading them more. Just the fact that I spaced out reading them so much, I kind of forgot about the story. I'd lost that connection with the characters. Then when I started in the next book, it just took a really long time to get back into the feel of things. My way of reading it really kept me disconnected, unfortunately. I also listened to the audiobook of World War Z by Max Brooks. This is one that I also gave 3 out of 5 stars. And this past week or so, I have actually put up a full review of this book. So you can either click here or in the link down in the description below if you want to know my more in-depth thoughts. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I think this was a really entertaining audiobook. There were some things that I think lacked. I wanted more detail about the origin of the disease. We learn about the first case of it, but not what the actual disease is. And I also thought that there was a lack of female characters interviewed in here. I think the ratio was about, there was almost 40 male characters compared to the 5 female characters. So there was a huge imbalance there, which I had a bit of a problem with. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely would recommend listening to the audiobook of this one. I think it was a really great experience because there are a cast of characters and they each do different accents. And I also listened to the audiobook for the Scorpio races by Maggie Stiefvater. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. Again, I'm really glad that I listened to the audiobook of this one because the 2 main characters have 2 different narrators, so that really helped to keep those characters distinct. And I have heard that those that read the physical book had a bit of trouble differentiating between the 2. Their voices just seemed very similar and it got a little bit confusing. So I'm very glad that I did listen to the audiobook and I did enjoy the audiobook. I really liked the writing style. It was very descriptive and very beautiful and vivid. However, the pacing was very, very slow in this book. Now, I don't have a problem with character-driven books, but I had a certain expectation going into this one because it's about a race with water horses who are pretty deadly. I was expecting a little more action and a little more tension throughout the entire thing, but it is quite a slower paced book. So I think because I went into this book expecting that, I did come away from it a little bit disappointed. I do have some more thoughts on this book, so if you are interested in a review, just let me know and I'll consider doing that soon. Coming in at 4 stars, I have The Sidekicks by Wilka Starkus. So in this book, we follow 3 characters who all shared the same best friend, but these 3 aren't close themselves. So when the best friend passes away, we kind of witness how each of the boys, Ryan, Harley, and Miles, react and try and deal with it and how they kind of come together. I really enjoyed this one. I liked how it was written and I felt that each of the characters was very distinct. It was really interesting learning about them and their relationship with Isaac, who is the best friend. I expected to have a stronger emotional reaction to this book, and I'm not entirely sure why I didn't. I think maybe I just didn't get fully invested in these characters and didn't establish a strong enough connection, possibly. So I didn't seem to have as strong of a reaction as quite a few other people seem to have. I also finished The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, another book that I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and this is one of the books that I had to read for my feminism course, and I really enjoyed this one. This is one of the books that I used in an essay, hence all of the marks here for quotations. But this is about a dystopian society where women are forced into certain roles. And so we follow the main character, Offred, who is one of the women basically forced to reproduce, and that is her entire role in her entire life. It's centered around reproducing. And this was quite a disturbing book at some times, and it was kind of scary as well because the formation of this dystopian society happened really fast and originated from our culture, our own society, and just became what it became. So that was really interesting, and I really enjoyed the narrator as well, and how we do get some flashbacks and going back and forth between what's happening now, what happened in her past. I also read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, another book that I gave 4 out of 5 stars. So this book is set during World War II, and we mainly follow 2 characters. We have Marie Laure, who's a French girl that is blind, and then we also have Werner, who is a German orphan and joins the Hitler Youth. So we follow these 2 characters as the war progresses and kind of see how their stories intertwine. It was, oh, the writing of this was fantastic. I absolutely loved the writing style in this one, and I really liked how the chapters were very, very short. Like, they probably averaged to be about 1.5 pages to 2 pages each, which made it feel like I was really whizzing through this book, even though it did have a bit of a slower pace, especially towards the beginning. Again, with this one, I was expecting to have a stronger emotional reaction, considering the time period and how much I do adore books set during World War II and have really strong reactions to them. But I really just loved all of the descriptions and the use of metaphor. The way in which some things were described, it just made total sense, but it wasn't something that I would have really thought of before. It just seemed so clever in some instances, and it was just really picturesque. I don't know, just the writing style really did it for me. And the final book that I have to talk about is Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Illuminae, and probably no surprise here, but I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. This series is incredible, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to read this one before it was released. The only downside to having this arc is that there is a lot of artwork missing or incomplete. For example, here we only have 3 out of the 24 portraits available, so with this one, I'm planning on rereading this one after I do get my hands on a finished copy of this one, and after that I will do a full review because I want to have the full experience with all of the artwork. I still gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because this sent me on a roller coaster ride. My emotions were flung this way and that. Just one thing happened, and then before I could fully react to that one, something else happened, and then it just kept going on and on and on, and it was just so intense. So intense, but I loved every second of it. I was reading this one during the Tome Topper Readathon and received a Snapchat from Michael the Book Line, and he was like, "What page are you on?" And I was like, whatever page it was, and I was like, no way, I'm on the exact same page. So we kind of loosely buddy read the rest of this one, which was so great because I just need someone to rant to about this because so much was happening and I was struggling to comprehend. I can't recommend this series enough. I love it. I love it. Plus these authors are Australian, so I'm just so proud. So those are all of the books that I read during the months of May and June. If there are any of the books that I mentioned today that you would love to see me review as well, let me know. I certainly plan on doing a review of Gemina. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!